Hi, my name is Jake Lyle, and today I'm going to be breaking down drum set level 1, Give Me Jesus. Before we start, very important thing to note is that each instrument, each cymbal, each tom, bass drum, snare, hi-hat, whatever it is, it all has a designated spot on our staff, okay? So our very first note, it is a ride cymbal. So you would just simply start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and so on. Once we get to measure 8, though, on beat 3, there looks like it's another cymbal. So that is going to be our crash cymbal for the rest of the piece. That's going to be our designated crash cymbal. So you're going to roll on your crash cymbal. You're going to hit beat 1, 1, 2, roll. After that roll, you have a downbeat, measure 9, with a bass drum and a ride cymbal at the same time. So measures 8 and 9 sound like this. 1, 2, 4. 4 and 1. Just like that. Once we get to measure 16, it's basically the same thing as measure 8, except for there is a downbeat with the bass drum. So I'll play measure 15 and 16 together. It sounds like this. 2. Once we get to measure 17, we have this really cool tom groove. It's gonna repeat itself until we get to 21, and then it kind of changes just slightly. But it's very simple. The first time you play it at measure 17, you're gonna have a downbeat with the crash cymbal, and then you move on to the high tom, the low, medium tom, and then the floor tom. So it will sound like this. One thing that I forgot to play there is a downbeat on measures 18, 19, 20 that are going to be with the bass drum and the floor tom instead of the bass drum and the cymbal. So I'll play that one last time, and it sounds just like this. Now, 21 to 22, 23, it's going to be very similar to that tom groove, except for you're just adding in an extra floor tom note. If you don't know, this is our floor tom here. It's called a floor tom because it sits on the floor and it's a tom. Very simple. So that sounds like this. Very simple. You're just adding in another eighth note. Just like that. Measure 24, we have this really interesting fill. Important thing to note is that our F space is just bass drum. It's just bass drum the entire time. You're going to keep quarter notes going. They're going to be driving. But you don't have one on beat 4. That's going to be very important. And so that fill, just break it down really slow. It sounds like this. Right into the hi-hat. One last time. Going into 25, it's a very simple rhythm. Everybody loves this rhythm. Very simple. Very, very simple. Very nice. It's very groovy. 32, it's just bass drum and ride cymbal. And then going into 33, I believe, it's just ride cymbal on beats 2 and 4. And then the last measure of that, 36, you have another cymbal roll on beat 3. So I will play 35 and 36 into measure 37. 1. So it's very simple. 37, you're just going to keep a downbeat, and then you're going to do ride cymbal quarter notes with bass drum hits on 2 and 4, except for the first measure. The first measure bass drum note will be on 1, and it will be on 4. So that will sound like this. And then we're back into that tom groove. I believe it's the same tom groove that happened at 17, but very simple. I'm not going to go over it again. But we get into 45, and that's just driving eighth notes that crescendo into a 16th note fill. So that 16th note fill, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. That 16th note fill, it is just on your tom. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, crash. Okay? So it sounds like this. So with that eighth note driving crescendo, what you're playing is you're playing bass drum, floor tom, and snare drum all at the same time, and they're going to crescendo throughout that entire thing. Going up into 49, they're going to crescendo. So it sounds like this. Very simple. And then you're going to go right into ride cymbal. And it's just very easy beat. It just sounds like this. You're just going to put eighth notes on beat 3 of the bass drum. And that's it. And you've learned all of drum set level 1, Give Me Jesus.